Yeah, okay. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Unpopular, the pop culture podcast. In this week's episode, this month's episode, you know how it goes around here. If you've been around long enough, and if you haven't, you just hopped on because we do have a couple new subscribers. We are up to 30. The big 3-0.
Do I got that right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's close enough. We were at 31, and then someone, I guess, made a last-minute judgment call, and they were like, no, I take it back. But thank you all for hopping on and joining us. Hopefully you enjoy this episode. If not, keep enjoying the shorts I keep posting. I've been posting a ton of shorts on YouTube and the TikTok. I've had to get on TikTok, but I'm being honest with you, I'm not spending time on it. I'm not like watching videos or anything. I'm literally just posting videos.
You say that now, buddy.
No,
You'll be like all the other whippersnappers.
No, because I can get the same fix from YouTube Shorts or whatever. And like, honestly, I'm trying so hard not to do that now because you can just get sucked into watching hours of short form videos because it's just an endless cycle. You just keep going and going, and I catch myself like, dude, you've been sitting here for 10 fucking minutes watching nonsense.
Well, and plus with it being short bursts like that, it does kind of it totally factors into the whole like attention span. And
it satisfies your brain long enough to move on
that
to the
much
next one.
And
it's working for us. We have a couple of videos with over 1,000 views.
TikTok algorithm for getting us there.
Well, not just TikTok, but on YouTube too, because I post them on both,
right.
and just to see where they equal out or what's a hit on the other one or whatever. And 2 of them have gotten over 1,000 views on our page. Thank you so much. Check them out if you haven't already. It's all about my trips to the comic book shop every week. I just find cool shit, and I make a YouTube short about it.
Did you do one for the exclusive yet? Did we do one
for video exclusive?
Yeah.
I've done 2 for video exclusive, and I got another one in the barrel.
I thought that I saw one the other day on TikTok.
Yep, I've done 2 of them, and then I did one about just the horror collection in the room, just in case anyone was curious about what's in this room here, and people aren't very curious. I only got over 100 views, I think, on YouTube and like 200 on TikTok. But anyway, if you haven't checked out our shorts yet, go check them out. I'm liking making them because editing a 30-second video is way better than editing like an hour-long video. But we're just doing a shorty today. Speaking of our episode this week, and we're not doing a particular topic, we're just hanging out, we're doing another bag and board and just kind of bullshitting and catching up. And because a miracle happened this morning. James didn't watch our movie. And let me tell you why. So for a couple weeks ago, I watched All Quiet on the Western Front on Netflix. Phenomenal movie. Normally, I don't watch a lot of war movies. I've only watched like 1 or 2 other ones that have been really great, but it's normally not my cup of tea. And this one I saw that it was up for all these different awards for cinematography, for the score, for the acting, for everything.
Really good looking movie.
Beautiful movie. Awesome score. Totally different score for a World War I movie.
Yeah, it was unexpected for sure.
Right, but the whole thing about it is that no matter how great this movie is, man, what a bummer of a fucking episode that would be. And even like a week ago, I texted the boys. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about bailing on All Quiet and thinking of something else. And I'm like, oh, this is just my thoughts. And as I'm reaching out to them, trying to get comfort about my decision, and am I overthinking this? And surely Nick is going to respond with some like, you know what, man, you're right. Instead, he fucking says, man, we can have fun with it.
No,
what the fuck does that mean? Well, no,
make the most of it.
It doesn't mean
and I'm over here like, well, I haven't seen the movie yet, but it's World War I.
Oh my god! I'm like, what do you mean we can have fun with it? Like, it's gonna be.
I was taking a shit at work when I responded back to you, and I was just trying to keep my head up. I was just trying to be positive, man.
Toilet thoughts.
So, James texted at like 6 o'clock this morning, like, hey, I tried watching the movie 3 times and fell asleep, and I'm like, this was the final nail in the coffin. Thank you so much, James.
I like how my folly equals your salvation, just like...
You saved the day on this one.
I started watching it like a month or 2 ago and forgot about it, and then Larry brought it up. So then I rewatched it, but it took me 2 nights to get through it.
Yeah,
it's very so good.
The whole thing's just very dark and slow paced, but like brutal.
Both of you guys struggled and had to watch it over multiple times. I put this normally if I work a night shift and I'm working all night till 5, 6 a.m. when I get home and I get Logan to school, I'm like, I'm going to put a movie on and fall asleep. And so I put that on, not even thinking about it. You know, I just threw it on. And I was like drawn in and hooked the whole time, man. The whole time. And I couldn't fall asleep. I was just like, wow, this is horrible. Like, this
in the best,
terrible.
most artistic way, though.
Yeah.
Seriously, and I also said that we don't know enough about World War I to talk about this movie. We're gonna sound like fucking idiots.
Like I mean, I know, like, you know, just a broad scheme of events, but like I couldn't tell you the details. There's certain things that I picked out that I saw that were just a bit inaccurate. Like some of the bits with the flamethrower, like, just weren't done the way that they actually were in World War I.
See, I mean, I thought that scene was dope because I know nothing about this shit.
It is like an effective. It's an effective scene, but like for it playing out like that, probably not. Like that, just stuff like that. But
I was. Oh, sorry, James.
No. Go ahead. It's absolutely 100% totally worth watching. It's like, you know, from what I've seen so far. But alas, I'm very old and.
But only take a fraction of his word for it because he only watched a fraction of the movie.
Yeah, you know, and you can thank my my lack of mental faculties and my ability to stay asleep.
I love your lack of mental faculties. It's excellent. It's one of my favorite features about you.
Cheers to that.
So. Anyway, instead, I'm like, hey, we're going to bag and board comic books and just shoot the shit, which I'm totally cool with, and hopefully you guys are with it too. We're just going to do a half episode today. So Nick, try to cut us off. But as always, Nick, I think I'm going to let him a little loose today because I'm always cutting him off. He's like, no, but I got things to say. Yeah, he's got his little list today. I'm gonna let him do his
I've
thing.
had this list for weeks.
For weeks.
Yeah, with all the stuff.
Like his new episode of Airlock Shock that's been sitting up on the shelf for like a couple months, and I'm just like, dude, I love it, but.
You read it?
No, I didn't read it, but it's like, I love the motivation.
Oh,
I love
thank you.
Yeah, it's like, we'll get to it when we get to it, you know.
I will ramble a little bit because I didn't finish saying what I wanted to say.
Oh, go ahead. Say what you want to say, Playboy.
Eastern Front, whatever it was. I was hooked all 3 times, but I'm notorious for starting movies way too late and operating machinery during the day. I never want to be groggy. I can't stay up like I used to. And I turn into an old man. So, like, I was still wide awake, and then, like, I felt like I shared some empathetic, like, shared telekinetic, like, PTSD because I was trying to close my eyes and sleep, but I'm just seeing dudes getting blown up, torched, tank treaded. Anyways, back to you, Larry.
No. It's such a good movie, man. But like I said, there's no way that we could pull a whole episode off about that and it just not be the biggest bummer of all time. We're gonna be like, oh, dude, they ruined these people. They destroyed their lives.
Right, like there's not really any kind of like. It would just be a depressing episode. It would be cursed. Like I said, it would be like, yeah. I think that if we had gone through with that episode, it would probably be much later on.
Yeah,
it's completely taken off.
I'm trying to think of the movies that I've watched in the last little bit. I've been keeping track, but honestly, I've been falling behind.
I rewatched the first Terminator, and I forgot Lance Henriksen, our boy Bishop, is in it. And like Larry said, until you get to the police station, you're like, oh yeah, he's in this too.
Yep.
You know what? You know what's interesting about that? You know who originally was cast to play the Terminator?
Hold up. I think... Was it... It wasn't Jean-Claude, was it?
No, sir.
God, it's a weird one, isn't it?
It is a weird one.
Oh, go for it.
It's the name we just mentioned, Lance Henriksen.
He was supposed to be the Terminator?
He was going to be the Terminator, yeah.
I could see, like, the
T-1000, like...
The liquid one?
Yeah,
the second one? I could see that.
T for twink.
Yeah.
He's a rail thin tall boy. He's a man of the clouds.
But
the clouds. It's the first time I've heard that one.
Fuck.
You've never heard anyone call tall people a man of the clouds?
No.
Or a lady? Oh. Well, you're probably used to Amazonians more than you're...
That's hilarious.
Jeez. Alright, I'm just checking on
Wheelhouse.
That's funny. Yeah, I always forget that he's in that movie until it's the police station. I'm like, oh, it's our boy.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be so weird, though, if we would have had Lance Henriksen as a Terminator? And then... it would just been a completely different tone.
I just wish we could live in a reality where some of the things that happened in Last Action Hero happened in real life.
Yeah.
And Sylvester Stallone was the Terminator.
You just want him to be like
everything. Dude, like, what other movies could we replace, like, the main character with Sylvester Stallone to make it 100% better?
I don't know, but I instantly think that Kindergarten Cop would not be nearly as good.
Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, you're right. You need that lumbering European oaf.
Yeah. Don't do Arnold like that. What the hell?
No, I love Arnold. He smokes the stogies wherever he wants. He's the boss, you know.
What about JCVD? Jean-Claude Van Damme.
He was going to be the Terminator original. Or
Predator.
Not Terminator, Predator. Yeah,
and they actually fired him because he bitched too much about the fucking suit.
Yeah.
It's hot in the suit.
And you know what? What's great about Arnold? Can I get the Larry Cam roll in here?
Yep.
He was in Conan 1 and 2, and there's nothing I would love more. And I'm going to say this now before it's cool, because, you know, I'm like that. But if we could get a King Conan movie with Arnold coming back as an old man King Conan.
He wants it, man.
Yeah,
like,
he's mentioned it before, and that would be the coolest fucking thing. But it's all in limbo, you know.
Yeah.
But the Conan rights are getting moved around a lot because, you know, Marvel has them now. And I'm sure they're more apt to branch out with Arnold as opposed to whoever had the rights before.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
they could make a good Conan movie.
You
It
think
just
that
has to
Disney
be
would?
a barbarian, like a fantasy. It's almost just high fantasy, like Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like at least the world they live in, it's very just Dungeons and Dragons.
But Conan's just like so brutal. Like
Yeah,
I feel
but-
like
have Disney done a big boy kind of gruesome movie? At least in the Marvel stuff, because Deadpool was Sony, right?
yeah, but well, no, that was Fox.
Fox, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, things are changing now. I mean, I don't know.
But Fox is owned by Disney now.
Well, they did
Marvel
do.
has Alien now too.
Well, Marvel did do like, you know, while it was still under Disney, they did launch Netflix, the Netflix series, and those were gory as hell.
Okay.
You know, with Daredevil and stuff. So I don't know. It's possible. I think that if they pulled something like that up and they allowed that.
Well, the problem is, I've mentioned this before. Conan's a very simple man, and one of the key factors of Conan is titties. And Marvel's not going to play the titty game.
No.
I'm sorry, but Conan loves titties.
And you know what? You open up any old Conan comic, there's gonna be titties.
Yeah, and it's the only thing he loves more than blood and steel. Mm-hmm. It's fucking titties, dude.
It's just a known fact. Everybody, there's nothing. It's just a known fact that Conan loves titties.
Oh, so fantastic. I love Conan. I'm sorry, I'm rambling about Conan now. But no, that was about our Arnold, our little Arnold rant.
How do you guys feel about Rutger Hauer? I feel like he's an underdog in like the lineup of action heroes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think he's.
I like him in small doses. I think he's perfect right where he's at with the amount of roles he has. Because I like him. Like, I don't like seeing too much of a good thing, dude. I like seeing like, it's Rutger Hauer.
I agree.
Like,
if you put him in the wrong role, it could definitely
I think he's a man that doesn't need that much attention in the movie.
Yeah, because
he's a garnishman.
Exactly.
You want him as a garnish. You don't want a whole salad.
But
Rutger Hauer Power Hour salad.
As a garnish, he's more of an orange slice than a lettuce leaf. You know what I mean? It's definitely more appealing. Because, like, I can eat this.
Yeah.
You know, like, the lettuce leaf, you're like, I'm not going to eat this singular piece of whatever the fuck this is. Like,
arugula?
Arugula Howard?
Arugula. Howard, see, arugula is like a whole thing. You can eat, like, at least, 10 pounds of arugula and not get tired of it. At least I can. I wouldn't consider that a garnish.
I do consume it as much as I'm making fun of it right now. There's some banging white pizzas that have arugula on it.
Man,
but every time I'm like, a little peppery, a little
Yeah.
bitter, but we're not at caper levels, so...
Ugh, capers.
Capers are fucking great. You know what?
No, they ruin it for me.
I'm an olive man.
A
Man of the olive.
No.
I will
like
sip yellow fizzy beer and eat blue cheese stuffed olives out of the jar. Just
Oh, dude, have you ever
Get
had
in there.
you ever had
old
lemon
white
stuffed?
lady.
White lady.
So you're an old white lady.
Oh, well,
That's what I
like,
said.
sounds like I thought you were referencing a type of olive. Like,
you haven't heard of the white lady?
The white lady olive?
Well, there's pink
dude.
lady apples, so if there's a white lady olive, I wouldn't be shocked.
Nick, what do you got on your list for us?
I was gonna cut in when you were talking about that one project being in limbo, but before we get to that, I would like to say you guys are both comic men, and while you were talking about aliens for a quick minute, you guys need to check out, at least watch a YouTube video on it, of the Batman versus the Xenomorph. A Xenomorph gets inside of a gator.
Oh, yeah, I think
I heard about that.
Yeah. He ends up... there's two mercenaries he ends up down there with, and the one lady ends up betraying her partner, I think.
She's like a double agent or something, I believe.
I remember how that ended. And yeah, he ends up disposing, and he has this soliloquy in the back of it, and he has one specimen left, and he just tosses it.
I remember Batman versus the Predator.
That one was cool too.
That little short movie or whatever.
I thought you were talking about the comic book.
No, I mean I'm pretty sure there was a fan made.
There was
movie.
back in like 2008ish.
Yeah, but the comic book too. I mean,
Batman
be meeting everyone, just like Archie these days. You can't stop Archie from meeting everybody.
With Archie, it was like one of those things I never would. It's to me that was like Charlie Brown meeting fucking Predator or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Archie has met the Predator. The Predator has attacked Riverdale. Archie has met the Punisher. Who else? There's somebody else. Archie be meeting everybody, dude. Archie's out of control.
Popular guy.
Stop Archie. Someone stop Archie. What do you got there?
What's this?
That's a Detective Comics with a dope fucking cover as they normally do. Yeah, over here.
Nope. Yep.
Whoop. Yeah, Detective's got just dope
like a
fucking
metal album.
cover. Yeah.
It is, man. It's good shit.
I heard they're making this into a series, Something is Killing the Children, which was a pretty good...
Oh, yeah, the mask with the teeth.
Yeah, I only got like 20 issues in, or whatever, I think.
Is it about 5G and TikTok?
No. No, but, I mean, it's just about some imaginary monster that only, like, certain people can see, but it's, like, legitimately killing kids in this town or whatever, and then there's, like, a group of hunters that get sent in, or one particular hunter to go kill it or whatever. He works with this crazy organization. I don't know, it got way over the top, and so I stopped reading it. I was like, I'm reading too many stories to keep up with this one. It's a little too involved. I'm sure it's really good, but, you know... It is what it is.
While I was also less living off on Aliens,
Yep.
I watched Aliens, or aka Alien 2,
For
and I watched the
You act like that's something
version.
new.
No, I know, but that was like...
No, not new at all, but I rewatched it for the millionth time, but the theatrical version,
Okay.
and I was shocked at how, like, fast-paced it was, because I'm used to watching, like, the director's cut,
The
which
90
adds an
one,
extra
yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, this scene didn't happen? Wait, how are we already at this scene?
It's even more action movie-y in the
Feels-
theatrical version.
I agree. It's faster paced, but I love the long haul of the director's cut. You see, it's just sci-fi visual pornography. You get all those shots like of the door closing. We get the explanation why
Newt's parents.
are dead, unalive, since we are on YouTube. Unalive.
Sorry.
After her parents got SA'd by a face hugger and then brought it back to the colony. It just adds so much more meat to the bones.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie isn't a skeleton. It speaks for itself, but I prefer the director's cut. Give me that extra hour of just added shit.
Right. Honestly, I'm a one man these days. Just Alien 1, man. I can watch that movie over and over. I think it's perfect. And there's not very many movies that I'm like, that's perfect. That's it. But
Agreed, but I think the second one is also perfect, but like a little sweeter.
How could you? That's combative saying that. That's combative. But you're like, I mean, Aliens is perfecter than perfect.
But you know, it's yours is
I love them both, and they're very much two very different films.
Right. No,
But
I agree.
I love them both.
What is that?
I favor the over-the-top action, sci-fi, whatever. So.
Oh, I like the slow pace. That slow game with
Slow
short
burn.
little bursts of,
The slow burn is good as well. It's like a fine cigar.
And none of our favorites is 3. I've come to like 3 more as I've gotten older and watched it more, but
Lance
it's certainly
is in it?
not my favorite. Yeah, Lance's part's cool in it. He's like, oh, it's getting dark, Ripley. Oh, I can't see, Ripley.
Oh, the actual Bishop is in it, and that part makes me cry every time. He's like, my legs hurt. It's like, oh boy, you don't got no legs.
You ain't got no
You ain't
legs,
got no legs.
Lieutenant Dan. You ain't got no legs.
My long-running
remember you
connection
telling me
here
about the
was
local man
you brought up a movie or a show that was in limbo and eventually canceled. There's been a movie I've been very interested in that's been in limbo and canceled many times, and that has been the BioShock film, which is coming to Netflix as an original. So I'm curious. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I low-key am super excited, even if it sucks. I just want to see it.
I saw recently, speaking of BioShock, that BioShock Infinite has been recently under fire as people take a retrospective look at the game.
Because of the racism?
Yeah.
Because
it's blatantly racist. It's a little rough, you know. It didn't age very well. I mean, and it shouldn't.
It's a timepiece.
Yeah. Oh, there's that book I was telling you about, that Transformer Terminator book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forget what it's like all about. But I know Starscream's an asshole, and that's why I like Starscream.
Yeah, I think I remember telling me, like, there's some kind of correspondence between him and, like, Skynet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And they team up with each other, and Skynet makes, like, Cybertronian Skynet robots to take over or whatever.
That's sweet of him.
Ooh, solid.
What is your guys' favorite Terminator robot offshoot or variant? Well, we're juggling with that topic.
Honestly, I love the classic
Just a T800?
T800.
Yeah.
Just the skeleton.
800, 950 or...
Yeah, whatever the fuck it's called. But, like, just the skeleton, dude. It's just something, like, hulking and brutal about it. And, I don't know. It's like... I like seeing the waves of them when we get the flashbacks and
just
stuff.
Friggin' just stainless steel skeletons.
Like, one wasn't bad enough in the first movie. In the future, there's tons of them.
Just an army. I liked the older predecessors of that, the T600s. Not just necessarily... They were really creepy looking. Because they were like... they were taller, but they were only meant to just... almost pass as human, just human enough.
Okay.
So they're like 7 foot tall, and they had like these shitty rubber human masks on that just had like holes in them, so they look kind of like more like just giant hulking rotting zombies, you know.
Okay.
You didn't need dogs to help detect them. They were
dogs.
obvious, like they were a walking Halloween costume.
And that was kind of like this, just super that added such like a weird, creepy element to it. Like there was 1 or 2. Just brief, just scenes in I think Salvation where they would show them, and they didn't always look scary, but like when it was dark, they looked fucking terrifying. Like it was just stuff like that.
I feel like I
thought
watched Salvation.
Yeah, you weren't missing.
I don't remember anything about it.
Is that the one with Christian Bale?
Yes.
That's highly shit on, but I
didn't hate it.
I thoroughly, it's shitty. But I kind of love it just because you get to see all the other variant types.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like the like the T600.
And their home base area.
Right. You get to kind of see like the inner workings of Skynet Central, and you know.
Speaking of Alien, here's an Alien #1. This was a shitty story. It's a recent one. It was a really shitty story, so I stopped reading it. I'm like, they're gonna just pump out another one when this one crashes a couple months from now.
And to follow that shitty story up, we have this amazing story.
And we've talked about that on an episode before.
A fantastic series.
Yeah, Silver Surfer Requiem is one of the best stories I think I've ever read in comic books. And people are like, I talk to people like, Marvel still puts up good stories. It's like, look, dude, I don't think Marvel has put out a really good story since, like, Civil War. You know, and they've had multiple Marvel massives.
They've had like a couple, like some characters have had their own kind of smaller arcs that have been pretty cool.
But nothing that matches like their banger stories.
No, nothing that like really like, oh my god, that stuck with me like
right.
so much, you know.
But I don't know, man. That's one of them.
It's just kind of one of those things, dude. Like, so many ideas have been done over and over again. It's like, how many times can you just keep on revisiting the same shit?
Make them all gay. Marvel's like, we'll make them all gay. This gives us unlimited writing potential.
Let's just make everything gay.
Oh, I thought this was something else where it is Thor kissing Falcon, but it's Lady Thor. I'm like, speaking of, look at this. Perfect example. No, but that's an Alex Ross too, I'm pretty sure.
Do you guys know if the new Aliens movie, is that Romulus? That's a Netflix one as well?
I think that's a Hulu. I think the new Alien series is going to be on Hulu because Disney owns Hulu. Or at least parts of Hulu. They're actually, I heard recently that they've had talks about getting rid of their partnership with Hulu. But at this point, they may as well buy it because it's like not going to hurt them.
Right.
You know, the fucking mouse can afford to just pick up a streaming service even if it's not making them a ton of money. They already lose a ton of money on other shit like The Little Fucking Mermaid, like, and all these other live action movies. I don't know why they think these are good ideas.
Dude.
Or the overpriced Star Wars hotel that already closed.
$5,000 for 2 days and 2 nights at the Star Wars hotel.
Jesus Christ.
Suck my thing.
Yeah, that's fucking
explicative.
ridiculous. Did I just take off
I
that
could
whole
get us a
adhesive
beach
film on
house in
this?
Florida
I did.
for
God,
$1,000 for a week. We'll bring down the pod equipment and just bang out some episodes in the fun and sun. Larry doesn't like to get wet though, so we'll have to keep him on land.
Don't get me wet.
Oh,
Sand
yeah, we
crab.
can't keep him wet. It's
Don't
got more
splash me.
Rules than a friggin' mogwai.
Don't fucking splash me.
Don't feed him.
I'll go
Stop,
home.
it's not funny.
I'll go home. It's not funny. Seriously.
There's also a Thing reboot, sequel, I don't know. There's a new Thing coming to Netflix.
I'm sure it's gonna be terrible.
Peacock has a Twisted Metal coming out, which is gonna be bad, and we've actually...
Didn't we see a picture recently for this? And isn't like the Falcon, the guy who plays the Falcon?
Yeah, Anthony Mackie.
Oh, that's the Avenger I don't like. I thought he looked familiar.
Mm-hmm. Dude, why would anyone like the Falcon? I'm sorry. Like, it's not even a race thing. He's just a lame character that's just got... He's not as cool as the Vulture. Like, that's for sure. If we're comparing bird suits, if you wanted to be Birdman.
Oh, either way, I can't keep track of all this shit.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And you don't have to.
It's all appropriated anyway.
Who's banging up there?
Action's also been having some awesome covers lately. This one's not that great, but they had one recently of Superman or like Metallo under a Superman skin, and he's ripping out a Superman skin.
Man,
super fucking dope. But it was such a slow week for comics this week. It was I picked up a Hallows Eve 3 because I'm keeping up with that one. I want to see where that character goes. We talked about her.
Yeah, I really liked her. The mask.
Yeah, the character with the mask.
She's awesome.
Where's that number 3? Here's number 2.
I really wanted to see where they go with that character. Really,
it's
awesome
interesting.
concept, yeah.
At least I like the artwork, you know. And
It's a cool concept.
yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I like
but
it.
other than that, they started a new Planet of the Apes series. Like, anyone cares about that except for me and one other guy at the comic book store.
Kind of like Swamp Thing.
But
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
Hey, people are pretty upset about Swamp Thing. That's a touchy subject.
Swamp Thing was a great series.
I knew you were. I remember I was telling you about it. And like,
I used to watch it on Sci-Fi growing up.
No, I'm talking about here. Speaking of, here's a future.
oh wait,
state
you're talking
Swamp
about the
Thing.
comic.
No, the DC
series?
live action series. It was really good, but they had disputes with the owners of the land over tax bullshit, or I don't even know. It was some dumb bullshit, but the series was so good for a solid hero horror story. It was really solid, and they did Swamp Thing right. You know, I mean, and they're not gonna hit like Alan Moore style Swamp Thing.
But I did see on a DVD cover like they had him like holding a skeleton.
Yeah, from
and
the
I was
comic
like, oh,
book.
dude, that's so fucking cool.
Dude,
like
that page of that comic book
I know that
makes me want to cry
yeah.
every single fucking time. It was like, did I bury it deep enough? Is it deep in, like, you must have been cold and lonely down there. So, like, for people that don't know, like, so Alec Holland was a man, got splashed with chemicals, he landed in a swamp, those chemicals make plants sentient, the plants ate Alec Holland, so he is a plant man who thinks he is Alec Holland. And so initially, and it's a sad boy comic book. It's
some deep shit, dude.
It's just deep shit.
A lot of people think, like, by default, like, a character like Swamp Thing is just some corny swamp monster or something, By the
Muckman.
Oh, yeah, but it's some deep, dude. It's
so
Alan Moore,
good. Right. And so, like, eventually something's calling out to him, and the ghost of Alec Holland calls out to him, and he follows it through the swamp, and then eventually to the body of water, and he goes to the bottom of the water, and he digs up. It's his skeleton, and he picks it up, and he's talking to it like, oh, you must have been cold and lonely down there all these years, blah, or all this time, blah, blah, blah. And so he buries himself properly, and he goes, hopefully it is deep enough this time, as he buries himself and rips a thing off his arm and sticks it in the ground for it to grow or whatever. Yeah. And it was just like, man, what a fucking comic book. Like, that is one of my favorite comic books of all time. I'm sure I got the trade. Oh, here's book number 3, baby. The trade. I don't know if this has the actual page or not. I don't think so. I think that's in the second one. Huh?
When did you get that?
Years ago. I think Tori got me 3 and 4 for Christmas one year.
I was gonna say, I thought I got you one before.
You might have.
I thought I did.
I had 1 through 4. This isn't the one. This is too far. But, Swamp Thing is so fucking good. And if people haven't given him a shot, they absolutely should.
Not that it's anywhere near as iconic or great, but did you ever check out that Brotherhood comic?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry. I'm behind on my books now.
What about the Baroness album? Did you listen to the Baroness album?
I did listen to the Baroness album. Yes, I did. I love the artwork for the Blue album in particular. The singer does all the artwork himself. Okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, the singing was the most unappealing part to me.
Yeah, he doesn't really. It's bare bones.
It's very basic. It reminded me of if CKY and Mastodon had a baby. Not saying that CKY is kind of like mundane.
Right, but it's kind of like it's kind of has a generic kind of.
It never goes above a certain point technically.
Right.
Instrumentally.
Right.
That's creepy that you say that, because when I was listening to it in the car, I was like, this sounds like if CKY tried to be Mastodon on some songs. Some songs.
Yeah.
There was one that was very folky. It was just kind of a transition track.
Yeah.
That was very short, and then it's like a bunch of folk musicians were hanging out jamming, and then their buddy showed up with an electric guitar, and they didn't want to be rude, so they're like, you can jam. In a good way.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
I thought you guys would dig it. Yeah, they're like I said, they're I think they're from Louisiana.
Okay.
From somewhere very down
Bayou
south,
Boys.
Yeah.
And speaking of Swamp Things, Bayou Boys, Larry, just warming my heart, finally came around to the Swamp Daddy lifestyle.
Dude.
You want to tell him about that, Larry?
A matcha milk tea. I get it with no boba and extra ice.
You're not a matcha guy to begin with?
No, I'm not a boba guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I like green tea.
Boba Fett, dude.
But you don't
But I've never been about like the matcha powder or whatever. And I went, every Wednesday I go to the comic book shop while Logan's in karate, and then I walk down to City and I get something to drink. Well, normally I don't go to City, but like this particular day I stepped out of the comic book shop and I'm like, I'm going to go get me something cool and refreshing. And so I walk down the block and I order this thing and I get no boba because I don't want to chew my drink.
But they put boba.
I'm sorry. No, I asked for no boba. They didn't put boba in it. And they hand me this cup full of ice, full of this green beverage that looks like swamp sludge. And it was fucking amazing. It was so good, dude. I got one earlier today because I've just been in an absolute kick with this.
Once you get it, you get it, Lair.
I don't know, like, because I've never been all that big a matcha guy.
Oh.
Like, I don't feel like I haven't had the proper thing. Maybe
you like capers. You like weird, nasty, earthy shit.
I do.
Yeah.
But matcha,
Daddy. You'll come around to the matcha soon.
I will eventually, I'm sure. It's got to hit right, you know.
It was so good, dude. I've been on a kick, but it's like $5 a drink. Like I can't be getting that. Like
$5, yeah.
Well, you know how it is these days, dude.
I'm getting you some matcha powder for Christmas, Larry.
Yeah,
and you better use it because they're like $30 for a little fucking jar. But James, as far as the matcha note goes, the slime all gets us eventually.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Were you looking at that Detective Comics
I was.
cover?
I'm like just trying to friggin' that cover's friggin' dope. I mean, they're all cool.
Yeah, it's that one guy from Ra's al Ghul's group.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Abu.
Yeah.
Abu.
Yeah.
Bring it down a bit.
Detective coming in with the fucking heat.
Okay, thank you.
Detective's just non-stop cool covers. Like here's another action one. Like I was talking, the same style as that Metallo one.
Oh yeah.
And that's been a good story.
Is fucking cool. You know, the kind of that his costume reminds me of Reeves' costume.
Okay.
It's because like there's no border on the S and all that stuff.
I was like just whining a couple months ago. I'm like, I just need a good Superman story. I just want a new Superman story. Now there's like 3 of them, and I've lost track of what's going on in all 3 of them. Like I'm consistent with action. I know it's going on in action, but the other 2, I'm like, wait, wasn't that in this book? No, that's this story. I'm like,
yeah.
So I just gave up on him.
Sometimes I can't. I'm getting too old. I can't keep track of my shit anymore.
Yeah, dude. And I was just making fun of James for being old. He's like, oh, I fell asleep during All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm like, don't you old people love war movies? Isn't that like your thing? Like, but I guess they do fall asleep during those war movies as well. And they notably fall asleep with them being very loud and everything.
My grandpa, like, that was his thing, was watching Westerns and war movies and falling asleep.
Speaking of veterans and war things, it brings me up to a weird thing. I want just so everyone in our audience can get to know us a little bit better. I would like each one of you to mention your probably favorite fandom out of all of the things you like, and what you think your most unique fandom is.
What do you mean, like?
So I would say probably my
Are you
biggest...
asking us or the viewers at home?
I'm asking you two.
Oh, dear.
You two, yeah. Just so people can figure us out a bit. Because I would say probably my biggest fandom, it's probably Dune.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I'm a big Dune. Like, Dune is my fucking thing. I'm about it 100%. I'm involved in multiple things with the IP. And I would say my most unique fandom, and this goes to the veterans thing, would be Donald Duck. And the various intricacies of the Donald Duck family tree.
So, like, Uncle Scrooge and all that stuff and everything.
Dude, everything. I love Donald as a character. I think he's one of the greatest cartoon characters of all time. I think he's fucking hilarious. I think Donald is genuinely hilarious. Just the way he reacts to everything, the way he's just mad instantly all
honestly,
the time. He's fucking funny.
If I was to go back and revisit old Donald Duck cartoons, I think that I would, because I do remember him laughing at probably him the most.
Well, dude, it's just like
when I was a kid.
Everything goes terribly wrong for Donald all the time. And it's like, if it will go wrong, or if it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah.
And it's always funny because he just gets mad and everything wrong happens.
I think I'd like... There was the one... Did you ever see the really old one where he comes home drunk and he's trying to fall asleep?
No.
Yeah. That's like one of those ones I think over time would probably be canceled.
Yeah.
Because he's drunk. He's clearly drunk. He gets home and he's trying to fall asleep and his house is not letting him because he's got like a leaky faucet and all this and that.
Okay.
Like it's just...
I might have seen it. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, dude. It's a good one. But like, you know, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So how about either one of you? What do you think your biggest one is and your most unique one?
My biggest? I mean, obviously, I have to say...
Don't kill yourself over it. You know, don't...
You know,
what's your favorite thing?
I would say that it used to be comics and just Marvel in general, but like, you know, it's starting to like... I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me as much as it had, but that's partially because
we got burnout.
Yeah, you got burnout. Yeah, it's a thing.
I'm with you.
But you know,
look at all these comic books I got, dude. I still got burnout.
Yeah,
I get it.
I don't know, man. Like as far as new loves are concerned, though.
I think I might know you better than you know yourself, James.
And tell me, Larry.
I think you're a kaiju man.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
you've grown into quite the kaiju man in these recent years, especially
I've always loved my kaiju.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. And I didn't really consider that, but I love my kaiju.
Yeah.
I love
So
my
what's
Zoas.
a weird thing that you like? Where's a weird fandom that you're really into?
Well, he likes his women like he likes his kaijus. Big and
Yeah, I mean,
Big
there
and
is that. I
strong.
mean, I love my Amazon women. I mean, if you can, choke slam and have your way with me, then, I'll put a ring on
Danzig
it.
Demon Sweat live album cover reminds me of you every time.
Such an
You-
obscure
That is such a
reference.
but anybody who's seen the cover would probably know the reference.
I'm gonna put the cover on the
Yeah.
video for everybody.
Rip Demon
so
chick,
they
be
know.
like,
We'll put it up next to the James cam. We'll.
Yep.
She's like slitting a dude's throat.
Oh, with the skull
cowgirl
mask,
style,
right?
With the purple nips.
Yeah.
And Danzig skull mask. Some Viking shit going on. It's,
Oh, we're out of comics.
I got the last one.
Swipe the last bastard. But yes, I love my my Amazon women's. Yes, this is very true.
So what? That's not a unique fandom.
It's
though.
not a unique
That's a
fandom.
unique fetish.
Yeah.
That's a. We're not going into our fetishes this week.
let's see.
but while we're like
Clown Girl
lingering
Honk
around,
Heaven.
I know there's no
what?
good.
Clown
there's
Girl
no-
Honk Heaven. Sorry. Go ahead.
There's no good way to die, but while we're on this kind of topic, I'm maybe doing a Bandersnatch reach on this one. But there's no good way to go out, like as an unalive, yourself or be unalived. But I feel like James and I would share a sentiment of how we'd want to go out, and that involves, I'll give you a hint, have you ever seen those videos of the girls that can crush watermelons with their thighs?
It's very true. Very true.
This goes a little bit farther, but there is a fetish. I was listening
Fatality.
to Dave and Chuck the Freak about
Finish
this.
him!
A giantess
Yeah.
fetish, but it's not about like just big girl. It's about like you being very small.
No,
It's about you being like microscopic.
basically small enough to be
like you're gonna hop in there.
completely inserted into.
You're gonna hop in there.
Yeah,
you're gonna
like,
just
you
do
know-
this. You're gonna be making snow angels in there. Just
A fantastic voyage, if you
a
will.
punching bag, like.
As you were saying earlier, you probably know James better than he knows himself, and I feel like you have always been the best friend to go to get advice that I know I don't want to hear, but I need to hear, and also probably has a further, deeper insight on me. So I want you to answer for me first, and then I will answer.
You guys saw, I asked you a question. I'm doing all the work for you guys. That's
And we're just
bullshit.
boomeranging it. It's in your court.
I would say Nick's biggest fandom is just sci-fi in general. Not to narrow it down to a particular thing, but just the genre. Whether it's TV show, movie, you like the setting. It's not about the particular movie or whatever. You are a sci-fi guy. For unique fandom, I would say James Bond, because I would never look at you and be like, this guy loves James Bond. You know what I mean? Like, would have never guessed him.
This last weekend, I wore a suit like 2 or 3 times because I had 2 funerals in one weekend.
Yeah.
But you never skip an opportunity to wear a suit.
And you don't get a martini at a funeral. You normally don't get a martini at a funeral.
No, I'd do a gin and tonic. Let's be real.
He stepped out of his fucking Corolla and handed his keys to someone standing there. And he's like, "You gotta don't take the change out of the cup." I counted the pennies.
Yeah.
I know exactly how much is burned on that partial black and mild in the ashtray in the back seat.
Yeah. Instead of opening the car door, he's like, "Babe, come on!"
We're gonna be late.
So yeah, I would say that about you. But Nick, in your mind, what would you say your answer is?
Overall, broadly speaking, you've really hit the nail on the head. I am a lover of all things sci-fi. I really love the whole 50s and 60s sci-fi, as cheesy as it is.
Yeah.
I'm a big Halo head and have been since 2001.
Yeah. Halo. I forgot Halo.
Okay, so maybe my fandom
How could
is
you forget, Larry? I try to work it in.
I know.
at
It's
every
everything.
angle. Yeah, it's like
And I'm just like, nerd, fucking nerd.
And we didn't even bring up Marathon, and then I'll have my Halo tangent perhaps next episode.
Marathon does look
But
cute.
up front, my main attraction to my premium sci-fi is I like anything with a Space Marine sort of setup. You know, I like the idea of like robots and super soldiers, and I'm a very lanky, weak guy. So it's almost like a vicarious, like, power trip fantasy. Like, this
I've always
is something
said that
I could
about
never
you.
visit.
Nick is a lanky, weak man.
I'm a tall boy, though. I may be a sloucher, but I'm a
Man
tall
of the
boy.
clouds, as if you were.
A man of the clouds.
Well,
Thank
no,
you, James.
I can agree with that
That's
on
one
some
of
level.
my favorite things I've ever heard you say about.
I can see that on some level because I think the main reason, or at least I think the reason I get my kicks from anime, because it's a power trip. You know, it's about growing up feeling weak, feeling like you had no power, like you had no control, and then having all of the fucking power at your disposal.
Yeah.
You know, and still being a good fucking person, which I would never do. Tori, like, everyone around me is well aware, if I got all the power, it's fucking game over, dude. I'm gonna be a supervillain.
Okay, I'll say that, my interests, kaijus and superheroes, they're kind of like neck and neck.
Sure.
I will say that probably my more odd interest in is probably like 19th or 20th century literature, like friggin' like horror stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, like
I didn't know you could read it. I just thought you'd looked through the comic books at the pictures and like put the pieces together.
Certain things like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle shit, like that. Like that stuff's pretty cool. H.G. Wells, old sci-fi, because that's what like Lovecraft and his circle they're all corresponding at that time.
Sure.
So a lot of their stories were kind of like linked up.
That's
cool. And a lot of that stuff I would listen to an audiobook at work and stuff.
I got a classic.
It's a certain
Frankenstein.
There
on my
you go.
side,
Yeah.
because I think it's one of the greatest books ever written. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty cool.
I
For a
think
book.
on a deeper level, what attracts me to it is like space is such like a if it is habitable, it is very industrial, and everything's just cold and lonely.
Except
and
the
isolated.
ladies. Except the space babes, which I was going to say, Nick just likes the space
Finding
babes.
some love in the cold.
I'm a big cold wave, dark wave music fan, so I feel like on a cinematography stand, not necessarily always cinematography, although that does go with it too, but just a filmmaking standpoint, it captures all the elements and themes of the music I love, and it adapts it to the screen in a cool, spacey way, plus creatures, robots. But on a deeper level, I like the concept of taking average Joes and then just completely mind-fucking them, conditioning them and breaking them down and stealing away their identity, and then basically doing torturous...
This is Nick's power trip. I can hear it in his
11.
fucking tone right now.
So,
Me and
essentially
James
what-
are looking at each other like, the Nick's getting a boner right now thinking about this.
Basically,
like,
it's
torture him, man.
Nick wants to be space.
Nick just wants to be space.
Nick just wants to be space, and he just wants to torture humans, aka everybody that he hates.
Everyone that's
With radiation.
Everyone around me.
But no, I get it though. Yeah, it's 100%.
I want to be a cosmic ghost, but with taking the form of a super cool robot.
A space ghost?
Dude, that reminds
Space
me.
ghost, coast to coast, baby.
There was this killer Pac-Man like reimagining game that I thought that you would have liked the most, just because you're basically Pac-Man. You're on the ship, right? And there's all these other dead astronauts, and you see their ghosts appear. But they all look like kind of like Pac-Man. So there's different colored ghosts.
Okay.
You got to collect all the pellets. It was weird, but like
What's this called?
it was a Pac-Man remake. Remember Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like he's got the yellow spacesuit and like the visor of
That's
his helmet
weird.
looks like a mouth. And I thought to myself, you know what, Nick would fucking.
It's a
love the shit
licensed
out of it.
Pac-Man game, though?
No, it was like an indie. It was like
Okay,
an indie.
okay.
Yeah.
I love everything you just described about that. Speaking
Especially
of,
the soundtrack was right up there. Like it was, the whole thing was your jam. If I could find it, I'll send it your way.
send links,
I
send
will.
pics, or never
I almost
happen.
certainly
Speaking of it, like indie games, though, not to dodge the question, Iron Lung, the game
Yes!
about being trapped into in a submarine. It's a very quick game. You can beat it in 15 minutes, but it takes place on a alien planet with a
Ocean of
demonic
blood.
blood ocean. It's like Waterworld, but with blood.
So you're just trying to explore this ocean of blood and take pictures with a camera because you don't have a window.
You're almost like a surveyor.
Yeah.
Like you're a prisoner,
But you're a
forced
prisoner.
into this suicide mission.
Speaking
They're
of
making a
Ocean
movie.
of Blood, you guys should watch Evangelion. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this week's episode. I'm cutting us off, so I think we're way past the half an hour mark. I'm done editing. I'm not going to edit more than a half an hour. I'm just kidding. I think we've had enough conversation to really fill the whole
It was a
episode.
good. I mean, yeah. It despite the fact that like I just start like I don't know. I felt like I wasn't like quite with it today, but
Oh, James, you're always with it. You're always with it. We love having you here. We
well,
love
thanks
your
for humoring
input.
me, Larry. That's very sweet of you.
To answer the second part of my question,
No,
my unknown fandoms are the original Battlestar Galactica series and the original Lost in Space. Favorite episode being season 1, episode 12, War of the Robots. It's in black and white, but Robbie the Robot makes an appearance alongside
like
the
and
B9.
subscribe.
Thank you.
James is leaving.
Like and subscribe.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.